splendid good evening to all of you tuned in to Radio Oriala 95.1 FM. Well, we switched over today for a very special interview with some very special persons who are in our area visiting the villages of Oriala and Siparuta. Well, presently they are in Oriala and they should be in Siparuta later in the day. So it's very good to have them here, and I would like to introduce them right now. And so far we have three persons here in the studios of Radio Oriala. We have the Commander of Region Number 6, Superintendent Jairam Ramlakan. We have the Assistant Superintendent Shiv Baran, and he is the officer in charge of Springlands Police Station. And we have the PRO from the Communications Unit, Stan Govaya. So they're here this day to tell us what they're in the village doing and what they would like to, they would like from us as residents, and also to inform us of some very important things that relate to the police. So we have them here, and mostly it will have to do with law and order, I'm assuming, right? So when you hear police, you already think about law and order and how we will have to behave. Well, from my, I would say, interaction with them, they're not so like, police, like we're gonna be, you'll have to be scared of them or whatever. They're here, and so far I would say that I'm very impressed with their the way they carried themselves today in the meeting. It was very interactive and all of that. So we're here now to bring some of that into this studio so that all of you out there can have an idea of what happened, and also to be more, I would say, more, you will get to know these gentlemen, because I have heard before of Commander Ramlakan and all of that. So I just heard about him. So here we'll have him, and you'll be able to hear him, and that would be very good. And also the officer in charge of Springlands Police Station. Well, it's the first time I'm seeing them, and you'll be able to hear them on air here today. First up, we'll have the Mr. Stan Govaya, the PRO from the Communications Unit of the police, and he will be able to introduce what we're going to do here today. Good day to you, sir.
Good day to you. Good day to all who are hearing us in this 25 miles radius of the beautiful Berbice, or Region 6. Stan Govaya here, and I think some of you might say no stranger to radio, but as the public relations officer of the Corporate Communications Unit at the Ghana Police Force, it actually gives me great pleasure to be here. And Annalisa, I like the fact that you did mention that the police who came today are not police, whatever that means. But I think, you kind of give the impression that it's not this fear or people coming to run you down or what's not. And I start off saying kudos on that, because it is one of the things on the mandates of the Ghana Police Force where the changing of that image or perception by the public that all the police are doing is coming to shake you down or hassle you is going to be no more. There's going to be greater public-private partnership initiatives, that is, with the citizens, because in order to effectively police and to keep law and order the way it should be, we've got to have the interaction with members of the community or the citizens. We've got to have their eyes and ears to be able to help us. And therefore, it is not always about the confrontational issue or issues that occur. It's also about identifying some of the needs that the community has, and however best that the police force can actually address those things, they address those. Because sometimes when you address a need, I heard the commander say earlier today in the meeting, sometimes instead of just sending out to arrest someone, have a meeting first. And sometimes, as they say, a soft answer turneth away wrath. And a lot of problems could be eradicated when you take on different techniques and different measures. And this is exactly what the Ghana Police Force is out to do. starting with the commanders and trickling down to all of the officers and all of the ranks. And particularly I know all of the ranks because they're the ones who on a day-to-day basis are interacting and meeting with the public. They're the first face of the police force. And so we're cognizant that sometimes when they mess up, it actually gives a bad reflection on other officers who sometimes genuinely are doing good things and working on good initiatives. I've seen, for example, where in this region, Region 6 on the coast, along the Berbice coast, a very warm and refreshing thing, and this is where police officers on the commander level took monies out of their personal pockets, identified that there was a woman who was living alone, very aged, and she had a disability. And you know what they did? They subbed out the monies, and they went and they did a cleaning and did a repairing and built her stairs for her home. They carried some of the other officers who were able to bathe her, wash her hair, style her up, and made her feel nice and so on. These are some of the things that the police are doing, right, in terms of engaging better relations with the community. And it's not just maybe at the command center that is happening. It's something that's going to be spread out. And so based on that, the corporate communications unit of the Ghana Police Force, and we brought up all the members when we came to visit Region 6, who are here. There's lots of them. They're doing camera or they're doing some writing in the background. I want to give a big shout out to all of them because they work very hard. It is to be able to aid and assist the Ghana Police Force in putting these kind of positive messages out to the general public. Because oftentimes the commanders and their team of police officers and ranks are busy maintaining law and order. And the thing about it is that sometimes because there's so much that they're doing, people don't know whatever impression they already have of the Ghana Police Force continues to be embedded and becomes a convicted belief. So if it is that we can then put out that, and oftentimes in sincere, I must say, especially Commander Ramlakan, as soon as you awake in the morning, you have at least 10, 12 different stories. But what I'm liking about it is that you have at least half of those stories are positive initiatives that are happening in terms of the engagement with various communities throughout Region 6. And this initiative of coming here today, we see it as a genuine thing, and we get a chance to see the interaction of the senior officers on the ground with the people. And the fact that they could not just listen to concerns, but what could be addressed immediately is addressed. What has to have follow-up, they give follow-up, and there's a concerted commitment to that. But obviously we know, without the support of the citizens, we can't get it right. And this is a genuine effort that we ask all of the residents to be able to endorse and to be a part of. You are the first police in your community. You're the first one who could actually make things happen to make sure that law and order obtains. And law and order is not this live in a straitjacket. But like someone said, you're entitled to your peace, I'm entitled to mine. Same way you're entitled to your enjoyment, I'm entitled to mine. I should not encroach on yours, and I should be respectful of your rights and your liberties. And I believe this is what the commander and the officer in charge are going to elaborate on what happened today. Commander?
Well, thank you very much, Stan, and our moderator, Mr. Angelo. Pleasant good afternoon. I want to say a pleasant good afternoon to all residents of Oriala. I consider myself one, having been here for almost 6 times since I took over the command of it was B Division, and I should inform that it is now Regional Division 6. I am Superintendent Jairam Ramlakan. We are here today as just, I believe that as the commander, you must not be at your office. You must be able to know every village in your community, every citizen, listen to their concern. And that, as a result of that, we have been throughout the region, been visiting various communities, listening to the issues and concerns of residents, rather than you going to the station. I have, over the past my 35 years so far in the police force, realized that you have persons with issues who don't want to go to the station for many reasons. And so we have to bridge this gap. Bridge this gap in the sense that we go on the ground and listen to your concern and deal with it there, right? People don't have time for many reasons to go to the police station because of time consumption and lack of trust. But I want to tell you that the police or the resident of Oriala, as I can recall, they have all the confidence, all the trust now in the Guyana Police Force, especially the ranks at the B Division, as you want to say, Regional Division 6. And so today I've decided to come with the team from the police PR department and let the residents know who they are, what they're here for, and what are their concerns. It's not about PR alone, but the whole broader scope of policing and networking in building a better community. Today, so much came out of this meeting, as usual. One of the highlights, we very soon would be issuing packages for our drivers, so that you have the opportunity now to able to have a driver's license. Okay, very soon we'll have roads there and vehicles. So we don't want to wait until then to start this program or project. So in another 2 weeks, I brought with me today my subdivisional officer, Mr. Shibaran, the officer in charge of crime, Assistant Superintendent Jorman Grant, and the traffic officer, Assistant Superintendent Ron Clark, who recently transported division from the traffic headquarters, and one of his area of focus is the installing of a traffic unit or traffic education system in this region. I don't think there's any other region that has a traffic education unit. So they will be out doing a lot of educational programs. But today, the residents of Oriala, we have listened to their concerns. Many need firearms. Yes, true. I am very supportive. They are now shifting from logging to farming, and certainly I want to give priority in the sense of expeditiously processing their applications. Right? The thing is, what we want here is whenever a report is made, we don't want any delay. The police on the ground must be able to act swiftly, because that is the problem. Our failure to act promptly in many cases results in persons making complaints at higher authority. But as the commander, I've made it clear that I'm not going to stick nonsense. I'm going to ensure that justice is meted out to the people of Oriala, and see that all and sundry, all must be treated fairly. So that is something that residents can look forward to. We're trying to make our officers more comfortable too, in terms of having a fridge or something that, make them a television. We want to do some work on the station. As you know, the station is in a terrible state. As a result, very soon there will be formation of community policing group and station management committee, because the station management committee is the one that would look at the welfare of the rank, look at the physical infrastructure of the station, and that is what we need. We need persons to, we police officers, we have issues, we have concerns too. So some people just believe that the police, they're some superior being, they don't have issue. No, we have similar problems, right, like members of the public. But we want to make our police officer, especially in this Oriala, to foster a better relationship, strengthen this relationship with the resident, so that, we'll have this more harmonized approach to everything. And so today's meeting is, I would say, is a very successful one, as the one that we did yesterday in all the way in the Veld, in the Berbice River. So thank you for this opportunity.
Thank you, Stan Gavaya, and our moderator, as well as our host, Angela. I'm Assistant Superintendent Kimrad Shubran. I would have been posted to Region 6, formerly the B Division, on January 8th. Today mark exactly 3 months for me to be in this region.
Congratulations.
Basically, my responsibility in this division as the subdivision officer is just to give an idea as to the geographic space or responsibility. That is of Tarlichi and the number 35 village right onto Siparuta. It is a big gap, but in the short space of time, we have been able to manage the subdivision effectively, I should say, based on our human resources and our physical resources that is available at the moment. We had started to develop a number of initiatives across the subdivision. In fact, of the motivation by our divisional commander, Mr. Jairam Namukan. He has the ability or the pattern to go into a number of areas and create a number of initiatives. So based on our conference that was held this year in Georgetown, which is part of our core responsibility at our station level and our subdivision level, we have meted out a number of areas. In the 3 months that I'm here, we have built a number of partnerships. We have the business community on board with us. We had the community policing group, several groups sort of being established or resuscitated within this subdivision. We have seen an increase on that level of the community policing group in comparison to the year 2020. We also had an increase of membership as well too. We have active station management committees which have been pointed out by Commander. Some of them that are dormant, they are now active, and we are looking at another level at the Orialo Basin Commander commence. Yesterday, like we are here today in Orialo, and we want to thank the listeners who are listening to us here now. Based on our meeting, our visit here today, I want to say this is my third visit within the 3 months that I would have took up the position of the subdivisional officer. Much to say that in calculation, every month I would have been visiting the Oriala for the last 3 months.
Very good.
Last month, in the month of March, I was here along with some others, and we took a walkabout in the community. We went up into the hill, and we spoke to a number of residents up in the hill and the flat, where a number of concerns would be raised by residents, and we addressed those face to face in the community. There were other issues that were raised on my last visit as well too, and those issues would have been dealt with. From then to now, we haven't received many complaints coming from this area. I know one of the issues that would have been pointed out to rate as one of my previous visits as relates to the social distances and persons who are operating shops and places that are selling alcohol for consumption. From then to now, I have noticed, or in our daily reports, there have been a decline in terms of the number of cases that will be reported in the Oriala district in comparison to probably 2 months back. So I think with the change of the police on the ground here, we are seeing some positive effects are coming out. The police, they're not necessarily always, like some members of the public can be of the concept that police are generally, every time they want to arrest somebody. We have changed the pattern of way of doing things with the people, members of the public. We are doing a more educational system now, building relationships. We created an environment or avenue for persons to have more interactions so we could understand what are the problems in the ground and be able to address them without having them to be prosecuted. Where there are serious crime, we will have to be investigated and have prosecution taking place. We try to meet out with members of the public. We try to have more information sharing. Let them feel comfortable. They can approach the police at any point in time, make direct contact with the subdivisional officer, can make contact with the commander, and share those information, give them assurance that those information will be acted upon immediately so we can reduce. Based on that approach, the initiative that will be taking place, there is a reduction of complaints from members of the public dramatically. And this because of the fact that you as an individual need to pay more attention to your area of work, spending more time, listen to the people's problems, address them immediately, and having them running from to and fro. They become frustrated and then they venture their feelings elsewhere. Or they will be advised by members of the public themselves as to where they need to go. I would have developed that kind of relationship and tried to cut that process to ensure that those problems are addressed directly at my level. In that sense, we were able to see a decrease in the complaints from members of the public. We also see we have an increase in prosecution where persons of report of serious crimes would have been taking place. And also we see a reduction of reported crime in comparison figure for the year 1st of January to 31st of March 2020, comparison with the same figure this year. For instance, domestic violence. We had some 199 reported cases in 2020. We have seen that drop dramatically in the subdivision to 71, I think. That's my figure yesterday. We had a 65 prosecution against 71 and 153 prosecution against 199 reported cases. So I think we are doing well in that area. I also want to say that the boost ourselves because of the fact we are seeing that. We would like that to reduce more. So we can able to stabilize the communities across the subdivision, inclusive of Oriala, and have more regular visits in your district and interact more regularly with your people here. So we create a better avenue or environment for us to have greater understanding. Yesterday we held a meeting at the Springland that is at Skeldon High School, and we saw some 120 persons turn up there because of the fact I was told that there's a spike in terms of the active cases. We have saw persons came across on all the banks, business communities in market and stallholders, and other persons. At that meeting we had a detailed discussion as to how we are responsible as law people and the local people out there to fight against the coronavirus. There are complaints from members of the society, and though that meeting basically was to address those issues. I'm certainly sure we would see a decline with the intervention of the law enforcement, that is of the Joint Services Patrol. I mean, they have a more effect down there. And we advise people to stay safe, same as Oriello. We want you people to keep that level of active cases, which have been, we see a reduction, to remain as it is at the moment. But we are here to serve the communities, and we will serve the communities effectively and efficiently.
Okay, well, thank you for saying all of that. Well, I would like to personally compliment your, I would say it goes right up to the commander for making these regular visits to Oriala and Sibruta. I don't know if it's because of this, or I would say recently then we've had more, I don't know if we've had more, like, prior to now, we've had persons complaining about how the police behave in our community. We didn't have such a good relationship with the police, but what I realized is that recently, I would say these policemen have been behaving more when they've been showing some form of professionalism, and I would like to compliment that part of it. And I was thinking that you're sending us some really good corporals in the community.
Thank you.
And
Thank you.
I would also like to say that, as he was saying, that you should these police should interact more with the residents and all of that. Recently we've had Corporal Pereira, who was here, and this gentleman, he was the corporal, but he used to interact with the residents, and he, like these youths we have, sometimes we just have them in the community like that. He would talk to them and he would try to advise them and all of that. And in this way, he had the respect of, I would say, residents of Oriala and Sibruta, and he was well known. That corporal was well known in Oriala and Sibruta, and people found it easy to talk to him. So that was very good, and I do hope, I haven't met this new corporal as yet, but I do hope that from this one here will have that amount of professionalism like Corporal Pereira, and we will continue to have a good relationship with the police, because it sometimes bothers me, because even growing up as a child, I would see how police sometimes behave, and I would say, like, sometimes I feel like we can't go anywhere. Like, these police can just do whatever they want, and we can't report to anybody because it will be the same. It's like sometimes this mentality we want to have to say that, you know what, even if we report out there, it's the same thing. We can't report to anybody. But I am kind of happy now that it has kind of changed, and it's not so much as it was before. And I do hope that we will continue to have these type of policemen in the community. What I want to ask also is that I haven't met the corporals yet, but we had a meeting with my staff, and we were thinking of having the corporal to come in and to do some sessions like on various like sexual offenses, you know, like in a way of educating the listeners about the various acts and all of that. So they now will, I mean, well, as they say, you can't be ignorant of the law. So we would like to get him in and let it be a continuous process whereby whenever he leaves, the other one comes in, we'll continue to do that. And in a sense, our listeners would be able to know that whatever they're doing is wrong. Because we have some persons who just do things and you explain to them that it's wrong, but when they hear it from the police now, they will better understand it. So I think that that's something that we would want to have here and help to promote that in the communities of Oriala and Siparuta. So that's what we would, I would, well, as the coordinator then, we discussed it and I do hope that we can be able to implement it, and it will depend on the corporal if he'd be, I think he'll be willing to come in and...
well, I want to assure you that whenever you're ready, I'm going to give the green light. I'm going to give the directives for my officers to be on this program as often as possible to enlighten the general public as it relates to all issues and concerns in every area, in every aspect of policing. That would be something that would commence, not become something that will commence, because my understanding that my officers are on the air all over the country.
Yes.
I'm surprised to hear that he's not as yet here. Anyhow, and then unfortunately, you still to meet him. I'm ensure that before we leave this building, he meets with you, right, and properly introduce himself.
Yeah.
I want to also take this opportunity to call upon residents to adhere to the COVID-19 guidelines. I've said it at the meeting that we told that there's a second wave, now the attacking of course, the younger generation, right? Persons have to be very conscious, adhere to the guidelines, wear your face mask, sanitize, maintain your social distancing, right? Today, we brought in excess of 500 face masks, the cotton one, the 100% cotton, so that it could be washed and reused. We have left almost more than half here, and we take the other to Siparuta. Later we venture in to speak with the members there. Because we are concerned and we want to ensure that we assist in every way possible to flatten the curve of this very dangerous virus, right? So my number of the listeners to everyone is in fact 623-2312, 623-2312, and 617-1942. You can get me on those numbers anytime. If you have an issue and it cannot be resolved here, call me anytime, and I'll ask my subdivisional officer to also share his number.
Angela, I just want to say thank you for recognizing the change of the behavior and pattern of the police in reality. Of course, I'll tell you a story. There's a change of leadership, and based on the leadership, are you trying to trickle it down the bottom there?
Yes, so I would assume that that's what will happen.
Yeah, because of the change of the leadership, it trickled down to the bottom there to ensure that those persons have the services that are required by the police. I can be contacted on 645-2669. That's for the general public. 645-2669, either by WhatsApp, or you can make direct contact with me at any time. I respond to any call at any time, despite of the time of the day or the night.
Okay, well, you won't just have to call for anything, right, listeners? Make sure that it's something very important and it's something that demands their attention, because it's taking their time also to listen to your call. So you don't just call with any trivial things. Anyway, it's very good that they're able to give us their number so we can be able to contact them. It's really anything else, any last words or anything before we finish?
Outside of what the commander said about your COVID guidelines, I just wanted two quick things to stress on that. Ghana is now at a place where we're starting to vaccinate people. I certainly hope that when it comes to the time that this village is going to be up for vaccination, all persons as much as possible who are eligible should take their vaccines. This pandemic, we have to see it, it's totally, what I would say, unusual in our lifetime, and it takes a lot of personal will and sacrifice for us to be able to overcome it. If anyone is cognizant of history, they would remember in 1918 there was a similar pandemic known as the flu pandemic, where the scientists in the world had to rush to create that flu vaccine, which we've seen today. I mean, you take it as a child and it helps inoculate you, protect you from succumbing, because it was a similar case like the COVID virus. When you got the flu, you died. So they had to create something. And we lost many people in the 1918 pandemic worldwide. With the COVID-19, we've lost one too many also. Even though the numbers seem to be huge in other countries, Ghana is relatively too small in terms of its human capacity for us to be losing more than 200 persons to COVID-19. And we've been having reports that in some areas when the vaccine is taken, they're actually refusing. Now, understand it's not forced, it's not mandatory that you take the vaccine, but from the government or from even the police who are assisting in a big way in these exercises that will be happening. But understand that, for example, similar to the yellow fever vaccination, countries will be making it mandatory that if you're going to cross their borders, you must have that vaccination card. We've just seen, for example, the United States has said once a person is vaccinated with their full dosage, they are no longer required to do the test, or they're no longer required to quarantine when they visit. Many countries will be adopting that kind of posture, and evidently we know that there are residents of this village who will want to travel, so you've got to be able to do the right thing. In the interim, as Commander said, wear your masks, sanitize, and keep your distance as much as necessary. You get the vaccines, continue to do the same thing until the health advisories say otherwise. It's going to be a little bit more, but we should be at the end of the tunnel if everyone does what they have to do. We know a lot of people are aware it's all over a year since we've had this and we're having to be wearing masks, and some people are talking, oh, my ears going to change and all that stuff. But it's a life or death situation. That's how serious it is. And as you rightly mentioned, Commander, with this second wave that is coming, the younger people who felt that they're invincible, they are the ones who are going to be even more vulnerable to this. And so they've got we encourage and appeal to you to stop taking it for granted. Let's protect ourselves and let's protect our loved ones, and we could be over this. And I just wanted to quickly shout out, as we say in radio parlance, the hard-working people of the Corporate Communications Unit. Our coordinator of our corporate communications had to leave earlier today to head back to headquarters. That's Mr. Mark Ramatar. And we have a couple of others who remain in the office to hold the fort, and when we send the stories, to start preparing them for publication. That would be Avindra Rajbali. We have, and I know Commander's like one of his children. We have Brittany DeSantis. And we also had staying back in the office, Juliet. So a big good afternoon to them, as well as those who are on the ground here. Some of them are saying they're tired, some were ill, but they came out and they're still doing their work. Kudos to people like Troy Van Rossum, Asif Hakim. Those two particularly were not feeling too well, but they're still on it and they're doing their work, as well as Simeon Brown. Very ill, but still were able to do their work. So big up to you guys. We also had Dominic Watkins, and we went back to town, and we had Demonic, Whitney Demonic, who has been our able driver. We've also got our camera crew, people like Clifford George, as well as Gavin Matabadal, and the short boss himself, the younger short boss, Asif Hakim. So a very good afternoon to all of you. Continue to do what you do, and definitely the police will continue to do what they do. And a big thank you to you and everyone in this village for welcoming us.
Okay, well, thank you very much for taking the time to be in Radio Oriala today. And I know that the residents and all the listeners of Oriala and Siparuta, and we are even transmitting to Suriname, and they're also listening to you on air here today. Well, it is very good, and it's very good. Thank you very much for bringing that part about the vaccination.
Okay.
And it was very good bringing in that part. And just for your information, Oriala was formed, I would say, after the Spanish flu. Oriala was formed in 1918, so 2018 was 100 years for the village of Oriala.
No, but the same year of the flu.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Right, so Oriala was formed then, so we are like 100 years old. So.
Congrats,
Right,
congrats
so,
to
right, so that was it. So Oriala, we are very cognizant of that fact that what damage the flu can do to a community. Yeah, so that was it. And again, thank you very much. And I do hope that when you come back to Oriala, we will be able to have you on air again, because it was very good to have you on air now. And I know that as time goes by, we'll be able to build a better, we can be able to build a better Oriala, and in return we build a better Guyana, and a place where we can be able, you wouldn't be able to be perfect, but at least we'll have a community that people can be able, I would say livable, that people can be able to live in and enjoy life, right? Because I would say that it's very good, because as a resident and as a civilian, I feel good when I can be able to walk this village. As a female, I can be able to walk this village 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock at night, knowing that I'm safe. Right? Knowing that nothing will not happen to me. It's safe because we have, it goes back to the police, because if we have police in the community that people respect and they know that they will have to behave themselves and they'll have to do things properly, it means that I will feel safe. And if I will feel safe, then other women will feel safe, and other men and other children, and we will all feel safe, and we make it a safer environment and a safer community. And I would say thank you to all of you and your team and the police and all that for doing your work, and I do hope that you'll continue to do that, and we will be very grateful for your efforts. So thank you very much.
Thank
you.
Thank you for hosting us too.
Okay, so there we have it, listeners. Residents of Siparuta, please be prepared. The team will be on their way there, and I would say, let's say they'll take 15 minutes, 5, 10, in another 20 minutes they should be there in Siparuta. So be out on the stelling front and be ready for the meeting. So get yourself out there and prepare with your questions, and make sure that you have answers, and make sure that you come up with some good initiatives that will make your community better.